Dun 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 dun. Doon doon. Now whip it. Boom boom into shape. Shape it up. Get straight. Go forward. Move ahead. Try to detect it. It's not too late to whip it. Whip it good. Bum, 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 bum. Hi there. Ha ha ha. This musical interlude is brought to you by today's subject matter. In the golden age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. This has been serving my coffee table ever since, providing me with a source of comic book shop style conversations, the kind I wish to recreate today, right here, right now, with you. The most important part of our show is you tuning in. Cheers. Go grab a cuppa, anything you want. Pull up a chair to our coffee table. Join us. All are welcome here. From noob to veteran, this is I make this show. I mean, we are going to talk about comic books. I love talking about comic books. If you love talking about comic books too, you are in the right place at the right time. I'm so glad we found each other. The golden age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age between 1956 and 1970. The Bronze Age. I'm a Bronze Age baby myself, between 1970 and 1985. And the Copper Age begins in 1985. I get these definitions and standards from the glossary of the most current Overstreet comic book price guide. Valuable resource for any comics fan. I swear. We have show notes made by our executive producer, Pika. We also have our cameraman and boom mic operator, a union thinker, and the critical drinker plushie. This is just, the stars of the show. We also have Batman, the Alex Toth Batman, addressing the trouble alert from the Super Friends. What an elegant background, I feel. And this is our company here. What? It's a sausage fest. What do you mean what happened to Misty? Don't talk about Misty and Brock in front of me. Pika. We're using this book for its intended purpose. I'm going to open up to today's date, which is November the 18th. We're going to look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And guess what? We're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. That's right. We've been doing it all year long, all year strong. We're just going to keep going. We're going to find something else to talk about every day with comic books next year, too. We're going to do it. Yeah. Seriously. This is what we do and how we do it. Yeah, indeed. So let's get to it. I hope you're having an awesome day. I hope you're clobbering your problems and not being clobbered by them. So, we looked into the past. This book is it's an interesting, for me, it's a complete package. It's about comic books, and it's about publishing, and it's about American history, and it's about American history at a very important age, coming out of the Great Dust Bowl and the Great Depression, and going into World War II, coming out of World War I, and this explosion of a new type of American hero and a new type of publication called the comic book, the superhero comic book, which were tales not shown in the daily and Sunday newspaper strip funnies. These were their own thing, and kind of exploiting something that children never had before, pocket money. Yes, for 10 to 12 cents, you too could get the latest issue of Superman or Batman and be regaled and filled with adventures, outside of the radio or of the serialized movies of the week. You could have them at home anytime you want in full color. This was the 30s and 40s. I mean, this was new back then. So it's a wonderful time. It's why it's a golden age, because it's the first age. It's idealized. It has a special place in our memories. And so let's get to it. This is story by John Wentworth, art by Homer Fleming, from Flash Comics number 23, November of 1941. Oh, as I was saying, okay, I haven't done this caveat or a trigger warning. I'm not saying that lightly either. I don't want to get TMI with but it's like I got PTSD, and I'm also, so does that make me, special or something? I suffer from panic and anxiety, so I know what it's like to be subject to something that, you might have avoided if given the choice. That's what a trigger warning's for. We can be snide and make fun of people until the cows come home, but it's not going to help, is it? You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? It's fair to do every once in a while and keep it in moderation, and but yeah, I mean that, because this book is a march through the past. And there's something in the golden age of comics, and in art everywhere, and in cultures everywhere, where our biases, racial biases, and stereotypical depictions of people, especially in the golden age of comics, you have stereotypical depictions of Asian people, of African American people, of Irish people, and basically of nations as well, of other nation states and of other cultures. It's where caricature comes from. It's where parody comes from. It's an amalgamation of the culture and how of the distinct look of where the character is, who they are, what they might sound like. Remember, this is not an audio medium. You don't know the character's voice outside of the consistency and expectation of the character. Now, the voice bubble may be written in a certain, phonetic way to put across an accent or something. Yet, I need to be careful making this content when it comes to ethnic stereotypes in comic books. That's my choice, because all are welcome here, and I'm not going to fall for oversensitivities, but I will. But respect doesn't cost a damn thing. So today's subject matter is not only got a Latino angle to this, but it also has an Asian angle to it. So usually there's nothing wrong with the art today. This is the whip, El Castigo. All right, we're going to get into El Castigo in just a second here. I have the wiki ready, and but also it talks about, and if we look in the background here, let's look at the art. What is in the background? We have El Castigo, and he is introducing himself. I am El Castigo, the whip. Let the merchant of greed, the oppressor of his fellow men. What was it? Let the merchant of greed, the oppressor of his fellow men, but show his head, I strike. The smart social set that Rod Gaynor mingles with does not know that he in reality is the whip. Dun, dun, dun. Let's get to it. All right, let's read the blurb. A bizarre combination. Oh, here we go, because we're getting into ethnic stereotypes. So in the background there, you have Asian style writing. I don't know if that's actual, like a kanji or actual, Chinese or Mandarin or spellings of words, or is that just meant to evoke an Asian flair? But then you have the paper, the stereotypical paper umbrella. You have robes. You have shaved heads. You have Asian-looking people in this background shot. Okay, yes, almond eyes, cultural and clothes appropriate to a culture and a cultural stereotype. Like I said, yes, these stereotypes can be used as harmfully and can be used as with racisms, and it can be used badly. But I'm going to give a benefit of the doubt, looking through history here, just in this, unless it's completely aggressive and obvious. I'm going to give it a level of a benefit of the doubt that stereotypes were just a shorthand way to compress information and convey information very quickly in a story where you have 1, 2, or 3 panels, comic panels, to convey this information. You don't have dinner scenes with pages and pages of word bubbles to express feelings like we do today. And no, this was of a yesteryear, of a different time. We have the luxury of looking back at this antediluvian, this before the Noah flood, before the world changed. These are 20th century mores and art styles and expectations and storytelling. We might not share them today, but all the same, we were going through this. And yeah, like I said, and if there's something like really kind of bad, I'll cover it up with my thumb or something, you know? I've done that before, and if there's any more, I'll do it again. But let me read the blurb, please. A bizarre combination of ethnic stereotypes. This story was published a few weeks before Pearl Harbor and continues a long tradition of depicting the Chinese as sinister miscreants. As soon as America entered the war, the Chinese became our noble allies, and the Japanese became the evil Asians. This is true because Japan also invaded mainland China, Shanghai, and Hong Kong, in expansionist and colonial, and trying to build and expand the Japanese empire. This is history. And when the war ended, the roles were reversed again. Well, because China became, under communist China. So Chairman Mao. While Japan became a protectorate of the United States Army, where we built army bases. And Japan was not even allowed to have its own government for several years until, they got their act together. You know what I mean? This is World War II. This is history. This is, and how it shines through in our fictions as well. Meanwhile, it amuses our Anglo hero to become a faux Hispanic and run around imitating Johnson McCulley's character Zorro, who appeared in many movies but got his start in a pulp magazine. Oh, wow, we should bring up Zorro real quick, because this guy's a Zorro ripoff. We haven't talked about Zorro yet. Zorro is Spanish for fox. He's a fictional character created in 1919 by American pulp writer Johnson McCulley, appearing in works set in the pueblo of Los Angeles in Alta California. Alta California was it was known as Nueva California. It was a province of New Spain, formerly established in 1804, along with the Baja California Peninsula. It had previously comprised the province of Las Californias, but was split off into a separate province. So this is before. This is while America's expanding. The Louisiana Purchase was what, 1801, and that came from France. So Spain had basically South America and Mexico, Texas, the Californias, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, all that, land. This is American history. This is world history, and this is this is the empires of England, of Europe, the colonialism of Europe. Yeah, this is, but I want to go back to here, where it says about depicting the Chinese as sinister miscreants. A lot of that had to do, I guess, with the influx of Chinese labor for to build railroads in the 1800s. Yes, but also around that time too, England forced China to open its borders. It was called the Opium Wars. And so Britain, the British Empire, had basically gone in with their giant naval force and demanded that they set up, that they were given land, like Hong Kong, and in other ports. So that's why Hong Kong went back to China in 1999. I think, was it 99? I'll look it up another time. But that's if you're hearing things about Hong Kong and its trouble reintegrating into China. For our younger viewers, you might not know that Hong Kong was once part of the British Empire, and people living in Hong Kong were British citizens. Then there's also Taiwan. Taiwan was also big into Dutch interests too. There's a huge other history on the other side of the world. There really is, and you might not know about it, but it comes through in little drabs and dribbles. I mean, they're literally on the other side of a world that is not connected by internet or electricity or by news or satellites, any of this stuff yet. I mean, we're kind of, there's one, I guess one critical thing I'll say. I think we're a little jaded as a culture, thinking that the world is homogenous. No, there were just different regions have different cultures and different cultural expectations and ways of dress, ways of talk, ways of courtship, ways of, of justice. And, but yeah, so, yeah, we've gone on and on a little bit about ethnic stereotypes in comic books, but Zorro was one of the first masked adventurers. He predates the Shadow, he predates Dick Tracy, he predates the Crimson Avenger, the Crimson Avenger, the Green Hornet, all of them. The first American superhero might have been Zorro, and he was a Latino. This is true. Yeah, he is the secret identity of Don Diego de la Vega, a young man who is the only son of Don Alejandro de la Vega, the richest landowner in California, while Diego's mother is dead. You know what I mean? And in most versions, Diego learned his swordsmanship while at university in Spain and created his masked alter ego because he was unexpectedly summoned home by his father because California had fallen into the hands of an oppressive dictator. Diego is usually seen living with his father in a huge hacienda, which contains a number of secret passages and tunnels leading to a secret cave that serves as the headquarters for Zorro's operations, and as a hiding place for his mighty steed, Tornado. And he also plays this double role of Don Diego de la Vega, this poofy kind of wimpy rich boy, while on the other side, he's a masked adventurer at night, fighting for justice and support and righting wrongs and supporting the citizenry against the iron boot of this dictator. Sounds a lot like Batman, right? Exactly. It's like rock and roll music. I mean, they're like, all I need is a red guitar, 3 chords, and the truth. Bono said that of U2. I mean, seriously. But yeah, the whip is most definitely a ripoff of Zorro. And, yeah. And then there's all the racial stereotype mess going along with looking and diving into the past of these golden age comic books. And we've been talking about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We make regular content about cooking and spirituality. Come aboard. There's plenty of room for everyone. Thank you so much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.